Welcome to Rich Tribe. I'm going to hit you with a hard truth today, something that most people literally spend their entire lives missing. If you think building wealth, crushing your debt, and finally hitting financial freedom is all about having ironclad willpower, you are playing a losing game. It's a complete myth. Today, we're unpacking the actual science of wealth building, so let's dive right in. So, why do smart, incredibly hardworking people stay broke? Well, it's because they rely on sheer discipline instead of what I like to call psychological architecture. Let me tell you about my buddy, Richard. Richard's a great guy, your average hardworking dude, but he's highly skeptical of basically all the financial advice out there. He's always telling me, man, I just need to be more disciplined. I just gotta stop spending. But I tell him every time that is a massive trap. The wealthy, we don't rely on discipline alone. We design systems that make failure practically impossible. Section 1. The Wealth Behavior Gap. See, there is this fundamental psychological divide that keeps the middle class totally trapped in a cycle of impulse spending. It really boils down to this concept from the behavioral life cycle hypothesis, put together by economists Sheffrin and Thaler. Basically, inside every single one of us, there are two completely distinct personas fighting for control over our money. First, you've got the planner. That's your future self, the one who wants to invest, save for retirement, and finally zero out those credit cards. But then there's the doer. That's your present self who wants the new car, the beach vacation, and the expensive takeout tonight. Richard challenges me on this assumption all the time. He'll say, come on, why can't I just budget better and, try harder? Well, Richard, here's your answer. Just look at this massive study from the Journal of Behavioral and Experimental Finance. They looked at thousands of people, and the data absolutely proves that self-control problems directly lead to over-indebtedness and crippling financial anxiety. The wealthy don't just try harder to be good with their money. They completely understand that their doer self is eventually going to sabotage them, so they design better environments to literally protect their money from their own impulses. Section 2. The hyperbolic discounting trap. There are these specific psychological traps our brains naturally just fall right into when managing money, and the absolute biggest one is called hyperbolic discounting. Now, I know it sounds like a fancy economic term, but here's what it actually means for your wallet. Biologically, your brain's limbic system is hardwired to prioritize immediate rewards over distant ones. If I offer you $50 today or $100 a year from now, your brain is screaming for that 50 right now. This biological glitch is exactly why naive consumers borrow so excessively on credit cards, getting that immediate gratification while completely sacrificing their future wealth. When I explain this to Richard, he immediately goes, okay, so how exactly do the rich avoid falling into this trap? They avoid it by leveraging another psychological quirk called the sign effect. Financially successful people just naturally exhibit this. It basically means they view future losses, like the massive interest payments you make on debt, way, way more intensely than future gains. It creates this profound borrowing aversion. To a wealthy mindset, debt is not some handy tool for a lifestyle upgrade. It is a violent loss of future freedom. They absolutely hate the pain of losing money to interest far more than they enjoy the quick hit of buying something new today. And let me tell you, that shift changes how you view every single dollar. Section 3. What are commitment devices? So how do we artificially create that kind of discipline? Well, get this. The great author Victor Hugo, the guy couldn't stop partying. He was blowing past all his writing deadlines, so he forced a future-focused action. He actually had all his formal clothes locked away, leaving himself with absolutely nothing but an old, ragged gray shawl. He literally could not leave his house until he finished writing The Hunchback of Notre Dame. When I told Richard this story, he just started laughing and asked, dude, how does a naked French author help me pay off my visa bill? It helps because Victor Hugo essentially invented what we call a commitment device. A commitment device removes temptation by intentionally introducing friction into your life. It's the act of designing your environment to make it incredibly inconvenient to spend money and fail. Financially speaking, you're locking away your own formal clothes. You're actively forcing your present impulsive doer self to obey the goals of your rational future planner self. Section 4. Real-world debt destroyers. Let's translate Victor Hugo's 19th century strategy into some real modern financial defense. Here is your modern gray shawl. If you truly want to destroy debt, you've got to implement these commitment devices today. First, unsubscribe from all those marketing emails. You have to stop letting companies pitch directly to your limbic system. Second, delete the payment apps right off your phone. Third, use a strict ad blocker. And most importantly, unlink your credit cards from all online retailers. If you actually have to get up, walk across the room, dig out your wallet, and manually type in a 16-digit number, you introduce enough friction to let your rational prefrontal cortex take over and stop that impulse buy. But of course, Richard questioned this. He looked at me and asked, do these tiny, small actions really make a massive difference to my net worth? Yes, Richard, they absolutely do. A recent longitudinal study reveals a staggeringly huge number, $25,800. According to the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth, just a single 1-unit increase in your grit, which is your perseverance and passion for long-term goals, exactly what commitment devices build, predicts a $25,800 increase in your net worth by age 30, along with hundreds of dollars in additional assets. These small, tiny frictions literally compound into tens of thousands of dollars. Because the golden rule of wealth is that consistency beats intensity when compounding your money. It's not about making one lucky trade. It's about making 100 small, correct decisions automatically. Now, right before I reveal the ultimate commitment device that the wealthy use to absolutely guarantee their financial freedom, I need you to do something for me. Subscribe to the Rich Tribe channel, like, comment, and share this explainer. It really helps us keep bringing you the absolute best financial content out there. Section 5. Automating your wealth. All right, here it is. The ultimate commitment device is where you take your own flawed, impulse-driven human brain completely out of the equation. Here is the automated blueprint. Step 1. Treat your savings and investing as a fixed monthly cost, exactly like you do with your rent or your mortgage. You pay yourself first. Step 2. Set up recurring automated transfers. That money needs to leave your checking account and go straight into your investments before you even wake up on payday. Step 3. Do absolutely nothing during market downturns. As I told Richard, when you automate your wealth, you completely bypass all your cognitive biases. You don't have to rely on discipline anymore because the system does all the heavy lifting for you, guaranteeing that your money compounds over decades. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative question to make you really look at your own financial environment. Are your savings automated right now? Are they still discretionary? Are you just hoping there'll be some money left over at the end of the month, or have you actually built the psychological architecture to guarantee it? Stop relying on willpower. Build your commitment devices today, lock away your formal clothes, and let time and automation do the rest. Take action right now.